Hey guys, Dr. Ruth Roberts here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I am so excited that it's still gorgeous here in South Carolina. And I know that our friends up in the Northeast are going to have some crazy weather and ice and snow today or tonight. So hope you guys stay nice and warm. Protect your puppy's feet too, because you guys haven't had much junk to deal with this winter, which is awesome. But there's a blog post on the site, and I'll find the link and put it below in the comments section, where I talked about using a couple of products to help protect feet in ice and that sort of stuff. So I'll get that together for you. Just delighted to have you guys come and join us. Please, please, please ask questions. There's always a place to leave questions. Sorry, hopefully a little glitch there, but it came back. So anyway, there's always a place to leave questions in the comments section, or just, message me and send a question that way, and I'll get it answered for you. So very excited to announce that we are finally getting our supplements in the 20th of February, so just in a couple of weeks. So we've got our first batch being delivered then. We're going to get some information up on the website as well about it. But the product's called Holistic Total Body Support, and I'll show you what the labels are going to look like, which is this. So I'm down in the test kitchen. Sorry if this gets glitchy. I'm seeing the screen tell me that I'm breaking up a little bit. But got two sizes for dogs, and then one size for cats. But I'm psyched about this product because it really is one of the few products with glandular support. Pet, I'm going to walk outside and see if that helps us with the signal here. But it's one of the few products with glandular support available, and I feel that is so important because as we've been able to control the pet overpopulation problem with spaying and neutering very early, we're effectively putting pets into andropause and menopause extremely early in life. And so that, I think, is part of what is contributing to all this chronic disease we're experiencing. So cancers, arthritis, kidney disease, skin disease, things of that nature. In human medicine, we know that hopefully this will help us out some. Cool. So in human medicine, great. Got some folks kind of popping in, which is great to see. Anyway, in human medicine, we know that when we undergo menopause and andropause, then all of a sudden our adrenal glands are forced to make the physiologic levels of sex hormones like estrogen, testosterone, things of that nature, that we need to make us look like men and women, essentially. And with our pets, when we spay and neuter, so what's happening is we're forcing them into menopause or andropause very quickly. And so their whole endocrine system never becomes completely competent. And I think that is part of what's creating some of these issues we're seeing. So we're taking these, bad connection. So we're taking these poor guys and trying to get them to run for their whole lives on a half-competent endocrine system. So we think of thyroid as the master hormone, but in truth, it's the adrenal glands that create the master hormones, and they balance us as far as cortisol and things of that nature, but also the mineralocorticoids keep our fluid balance perfect. And then ultimately, if they're responsible for taking on so many other jobs, then we kind of burn them out fast. And so I think that's part of what we're seeing with chronic disease in pets. Got a couple of other interesting things to talk about. One is a friend and client of mine had an experience with her dog who we've been treating with acupuncture and some pain medication and some of this and some. And she had an experience where she was out of town, and her puppy was staying with a friend of hers who had been given some marijuana candy to try because her friend unfortunately has Parkinson's disease, and so she was looking for a way to alleviate her symptoms. Well, my friend's dog thought that the candy was just delicious, and as you can imagine, that was way too much for him. And so, thankfully, the upshot is that he was pretty dosed out and stuporous, but some time went by and it sort of wore off. We supported him with some IV fluids to keep him comfortable, things of that nature. But here's the thing that's really cool. After he was all back to normal from his marijuana intoxication, he didn't need pain medicine anymore. And so this is something I've been looking at. In South Carolina, obviously, marijuana is not legal yet for recreational or medical use, although it's abundant in this area. So something's got to replace the tobacco crop. So I've been looking into this. One thing that is legal in this state is currently is CBD, and so CBD is the cannabinoid portion of the marijuana plant or the hemp plant, and so this is where it's a little bit easier to gain access to it, because hemp contains very, very low levels of THC, which is the thing that's active in marijuana that makes you high and alleviates pain and some of these other symptoms that people are dealing with. So what my friend decided to do is to try some CBD herb or hemp herb, which is standardized, and I'll talk a little bit about that next time and get you guys some info on it. But the thing that's awesome is that her dog has needed essentially no pain medication since this whole started, and we're now almost 8 weeks down the road from his overdose, if you will, from the pot candy. And he needs less acupuncture. He feels better. He just feels much better, which is just stunning. So to that end, so as I said, I'll get you some more information about that, and we'll talk a bit about it next week. But the thing that's really awesome is that there are a lot of states now that do have marijuana legalized for both recreational and medical use. And in those states, California and Colorado are the two that most folks will think about when you think about legalized marijuana. I have two colleagues that have written a fantastic online course, and Dr. Rob Silver has been in integrative medicine for decades and has been practicing out in Colorado and bringing just amazing relief to pets that people previously thought they couldn't help. And then Dr. Gary Richter, who worked with Hemopet with Dr. Dodd's laboratory for a number of years, started his own practice out in California. So these guys got together, combined their knowledge, and produced this beautiful online course to help teach you how to use marijuana safely for your pet. So they talk about various different ways to prepare it, how to figure out what dose your pet needs, and that sort of stuff. So that's pretty awesome. I'll put a link down there for their course as well. Full disclosure, I'm an affiliate of theirs, just so you know that. But regardless of whether you go through my link or go back to Green Flower Media directly, it doesn't matter. But I think it's fantastic information for you, and it will serve your pet. And I think it's going to help answer some questions to help you decide if you've got an older pet with cancer or arthritis pain that's chronic. Is this a good option for me and for my pet? And then, as I said, next week, if you decide that that's not a great option, then we can look at some things like CBD oils as well as CBD herb. So we'll get some info for that together for you too. So that's what I know about pot for pets and the amazing properties of this herb. So I'll get you that info. Hope you enjoy it. Some of the other things that we've been getting questions about this week. One is on the CrockPet Diet and different disease conditions. So we've got all these prescription diets for bladder disease and kidney disease and liver disease and this and that and the other. And if you look at those bags of food and look at the ingredients, what you're going to find is that for the most part, the ingredients are still corn and chicken. And so for the bladder diets, they've added things to acidify or alkalinize the urine to help prevent crystals from forming. For the liver diets, for the kidney diets, they are just adjusting the protein content and things of that nature. So the stinky thing is that A, the diets are not of great quality, which I think many of you have had experience with, and B, if your pet is sensitive to chicken and corn, you're kind of screwed. So the upside is that we can adjust the CrockPet diet for whatever disease condition your pet may be experiencing. So that is the super awesome thing. And there's, inside the CrockPet chefs community, folks ask us about that all the time. So it's just been fantastic because you can adjust the diet to exactly what your pet needs. I'll get you a link down there about where you can buy the ebook as well as access the CrockPet Chef membership on Facebook. It's been just a fun group. It's fantastic to see the before and after photos people are placing up of their pets and hear how much better they're doing. There was a woman, I think I mentioned last week, that was really worried about converting her kitties over, and she sent this fantastic picture of her cat leaning into the crock pot with the immersion blender still in it. So I think her cat's a diehard convert now. Kind of like Romy, she decided after a while that it was a good idea. One of the other questions we get is, how do you, do you have to use coconut oil? Do you always have to use this or that and the other? And in truth, we always want to rotate, and that helps to prevent so much as far as your pet developing sensitivity to certain foods. So that's been a great big help too. So that's what I know for this week. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I am. We've been getting a ton of work done at the house, and I'm about ready to not live in the dust and dirt. And Esau is about ready to not live in the dust and dirt. And these guys are extremely happy because they now have their sofa back. And let's see, there's Moose. He's very happy to have his sofa back, and Pep is very happy to have his sofa back because they were just not having a good time. And hey, Aaron, great, glad you popped in there. So your pups have been on the CrockPet for about a year, and her nails seem to be growing faster than normal. And she's saying that this can be a sign of fatty liver in birds, beak growing faster included. Let's see, and I can't quite get to the bottom of this, but I think what happens is these guys have such a highly bioavailable source of protein and all the nutrients that they need that their nails do grow fast, and it is kind of a pain. But I think that what part of the reason that their nails don't grow well, same thing, the reason that their hair coat ends up looking better. They finally have all the resources to actually put into hair and toenails. So if you think about it this way too, if your nutrition is somewhat limited, even though you may have enough calorically or what have you, you're going to put that nutrition into the most important things first. So keeping your liver healthy, keeping your heart healthy, the internal organs, things of that nature. So truthfully, skin, hair, toenails come last. And so often this sign of faster growing toenails is a good thing. Now, if you were telling me that the nails were splitting and looking funky, then that's not so good, and that means there's something that needs to be adjusted. But if the nails look good and they're growing normally, no cracks or anything of that nature, I think that's kind of it. It's all good. So Aaron, thanks for that question. And do you feel like they're doing really good otherwise? Hopefully that's they're looking healthy to you and feeling well as well. So that's what I know. Any questions else that you guys can think of? Hey, Sally. And Gracie is this dog that Sally was kind enough to drive to a kill shelter in Bamberg, South Carolina to pick up. And we lost one of our older dogs, Sam, not too long ago. And so Sally is hanging on to Gracie through all this morass of redoing the house. And so I'm so happy that Sally was able to get her out of jail, so to speak, and rescue her through Above and Beyond English Setter Rescue. Those guys do an awesome job. But Gracie will be the newest member of our house come somewhere around the 19th of February. So the 19th and 20th are going to be super awesome. And Erin, that's great. She says they're just perfect, and she can't thank me enough for the diet. And that's just wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. It's just amazing to me how far nutrition got pushed to the corner before we started thinking about, well, gosh, maybe what we eat does have an impact on how we look, feel, and how we thrive or don't thrive through life. So, guys, thanks so much for showing up. Be back here next week at 12:30. The other thing is, too, is as you're watching this video, if this isn't a good time for you, suggest a time and a day of the week that's better or worse for you. Happy to adjust this a little bit. Just my goal with these videos are to serve you and to answer your questions as best I can. Yeah, you're exactly right, Erin. Garbage in, garbage out. That's precisely the deal. That just, it's whether it's in a computer or whether it's in a mammal. If you put garbage in, you're going to end up with issues. So you guys have a fantastic week, and we will talk next week. Many thanks.